Hello YouTubers and welcome back to another weekly video. We are going to cover weekly video about solar news from the industry in India, international news, ancillary industries, EVs and research and development happening in the renewable energy industry for the week 4 of July 2021. So let's begin. Hello YouTubers and welcome back to another weekly video of Indian solar news and updates. Let's get started. This was a study done in India and it is prioritizing efficient plants in coal power dispatch. So they are saying that coal power plants currently make up for 200 gigawatts of installed capacity of power generation sources in India. So coal makes up for 200 gigawatts and currently they are saying if we even improve the efficiency of total plant combined by 1.9%, the savings would be 9,000 crore rupees annually. And they are saying that if we improve the efficiency of all the plants that are functional and we disassemble and decommission the plants that are not viable right now, that are not feasible, so we'll be saving more money in upgradation and modifications cost. And if we decommission those plants and if we use the funds that were being used to run those plants to modify and modernize the existing coal power plants, we would be enhancing the efficiencies, and by this we could enhance the efficiency of existing coal power plants by 6%. So if we are going to save 9,000 crore rupees by increasing the efficiency by 1.9%, imagine what 6% could do. So this was a study and it was good for the perspective of coal power dispatch mechanism. Coal offers a unique solution in power generation and power consumption, that is its ability to ramp up and ramp down rapidly, rotate the tap and increase the power and decrease the power, which is not the possibility with renewables. This is the possibility with fossil fuel. But due to this ramp up and ramp down, they are inefficient, they face degradation in the plants, and they consume a lot of fuel. So pros and cons of coal power plants and how to improve them. SECI to issue 2 gigawatt hours of energy storage system tender by August end. So SECI is eyeing to establish utility scale battery storage infrastructure spread across India on the small substations that are delivering electricity to our homes. So if I am sitting in a place and electricity is coming, so they are saying that we need to establish small battery energy storage in the nearest substation so that we get reliable power, and they want to establish this in the identified states, and they are saying that we will be issuing 2 gigawatt hours of energy storage system by August end. This is the image from Tata's 10 megawatt hour energy storage project on their substation in North Delhi. Rajasthan Electronics issues operation and maintenance tender for 2 megawatt of solar projects in Jaipur. So it is open till August 13, and 2 megawatt of existing plants that were installed on government buildings in Rajasthan are now open for operation maintenance. Rate contract tender issued for 1.5 megawatt of rooftop solar projects in Jharkhand. This bid is open till 4th of August, and it is basically no subsidy. It is rate of contract for system of 1 kilowatt to 10 kilowatt in Jharkhand. So Indian government has made its stance clear on the G20 summit, and it has made a appeal to the biggest nations, the developing nations and the developed nations of the world. And Indian government has said that by 2030 you have to cut your per capita emission to the global average. So global average is much lower, and India is one of the leaders in the per capita emissions. So India currently, if you see the cursor, India currently has a per capita emission of 1.96 tons of carbon dioxide, which is less than one third of world's per capita global greenhouse gas emissions of 6.55 tons CO2. And US is one of the leading polluters in the world in per capita emissions, that is 17.6 tons of CO2. Canada has 15.7 tons of CO2. Australia has 14.9 tons of CO2. Germany 10.4 tons of CO2, UK 8.1 tons of CO2, France 6.6, China 6.4. So China is below the global emissions and India is very very below the global emissions. And all these countries, if you have been to any one of these countries, you know how people are used to 24/7 electricity supply, how they leave their engines running when they are refueling on a station, how they leave their engines running when they are out to shop. So this is the reason like these developed nations are polluting the most and India is one of the greenest countries in the world. Union Power Minister and Minister of State for Power has released a report for key regulatory parameters of power utilities, and it is part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So this event was headed by our Honorable Minister R.K. Singh, and where they have declared that we need to be catering to the climate mitigation as soon as possible, and how this could be done is by using good resource planning. And they are saying that net zero building need to be identified and rooftop solar power plants have to be set up. You have to have more green building projects, you have to have more green infrastructure spread across the city, and it has to be part of the urban planning of smart cities and sustainable cities. So this meeting covered a lot of parameters, and they covered how regulatory part will be established, how the government should be regulating the plans of future. So it was a good plan. So this was amazing news. This is the reason we all are working in India. Hitachi ABB and NTPC, not NTPC, Hitachi ABB and BHEL Power Grid have commissioned a ultra high voltage DC link in India. So ultra high voltage DC link was a much awaited for India. Now it has been done. It was sanctioned in 2016. It has been commissioned in 2021. So it took 5 years to get commissioned. But this line is one of the biggest milestones in the Indian power sector. It is 800 kV plus minus. You see the cursor, plus minus 800 kV 6 gigawatt link spread in a stretch of 1800 kilometers. So it is spread from Raigad in Chhattisgarh to Tamil Nadu, Pugalur in Tamil Nadu, and plus minus 800 kV DC link. This is a DC link, ultra high voltage. 800 kV means 8 lakh volts of DC power, and it is a dual supply, plus minus. You can transmit from Tamil Nadu to Chhattisgarh or from Chhattisgarh to Tamil Nadu depending on the demand and depending on the supply. So amazing news, and this is part of a golden quadrilateral that we call, like the golden quadrilateral we have for highways. This is a part of a golden quadrilateral for the national grid plans of India that will be commissioned by 2050. So we'll have more ultra high voltage projects coming up in India. So we'll have more reliable power in all corners of India. So amazing news. Hit thumbs up for this news and share this news with your friends. Ministry of Power has released a detailed plan to revamp DISCOMs. So this was an amazing meeting again taken up by our Honorable Minister R.K. Singh, and they have said that power is a strategically important sector for India, and power companies, the DISCOMs, the distribution companies who supply power to the end consumer, are very inefficient and are in losses. So in 2015, when we started this company, we were talking about how DISCOMs are in a pain. At that time, the DISCOM were in a pain of about 10 lakh crore rupees. So they were in a losses of about, say, 10 trillion rupees. 10 trillion rupees loss is a huge number. And then government bailed them out in 2015 by 4 trillion rupees. And then again in 2017 by again 2 trillion rupees. So currently the DISCOM debt stands at about 90,000 crore rupees. We covered this in the last week video, and now the Ministry of Power has made a detailed plan how to revive the DISCOM and how to make them profitable again. So they are saying that first we have to cut on the attenuation and transmission losses. Second, we have to ensure smart grid, that is smart metering. We have to ensure that people are billed for the electricity that they consume. Second, we have to stop subsidizing power for agricultural or residential consumers. So basically, agriculture consumers, that is farmers in India, basically get power for free. That is, they pay 1 rupees per unit, which is very, very subsidized. The discoms are procuring the power at 3.55 rupees at an average price of 3.55 rupees, and they are selling it to the farmers at 1 rupees, which is unhealthy for discoms in the long run. So one of the major part of this plan was to solarize the feeders in the farmland. So the farmers would get electricity from solar power plants, because you only need electricity in fields for irrigation purposes, and it could be catered with solar power plants. So Kusum Yojana was a big part of it, and smart grid was a big part of it, smart metering was a big part of it. Transmission, setting up of transmission, generation, distribution projects with battery storage was a big part of it. Allowing rooftop solar was a big part of it, and how they discussed how it was healthy to have rooftop sector, rooftop solar power plants putting in the power, and how virtual metering, how grid metering, and how a small mini grid could act. So this was an amazing detailed plan that was released, and I think everybody who is in this industry should read it and should follow this news closely, because it would give you a lot of insights, like what is the future of discoms and renewable sector in India. So they are saying that this is the budgetary support that they gave, and this is the outlay program that they have. They are again going to give 3 trillion rupees to the discoms. So it has been like 70 years and the discoms are still not profitable. The only country that is in India. Regulator rejects solar developers petition for refund of liquidated damages. So we covered this in June as well. There was a petition filed by a solar developer to the Karnataka Renewable Energy Development Limited for not delivering on the PPA that they signed, and they said that we delivered you the plant by the deadline that was mentioned in the PPA, but you were not able to evacuate the plant. So basically they were not able to establish the evacuation infrastructure, and evacuation infrastructure was mentioned in the PPA, that it was in the scope of work of the government body that signed the PPA. So they went on to file a petition for that, and they sought liquidated damages of about 5 crore rupees for a 5 megawatt project, and it was rejected by the regulator, and the tariff that they signed will remain same. So EY has published a report that real estate infrastructure trust and in, real estate investment trust and infrastructure investment trust are gaining traction in India, as they are now neck to neck with developed nations. So basically we all heard the news that real estate booms and infrastructure booms are good in developed nations, but now in India also, post pandemic, we are seeing a rise, and over 9.7 billion dollars have been invested post pandemic. 9.7 billion dollars post pandemic, and people are crying we don't have spending power. Commission adopts tariff for SECI's 1070 megawatt solar project in Rajasthan. So this was a this was a good news to follow, because in November 2020 SECI had a bid, and the bid was for 1 gigawatt, almost 1 gigawatts, and 1 gigawatts was given in tranche 3 in Rajasthan, and the developers were recognized. So the tariff discovered for this bid was 2 rupees. Yeah, that's right, 2 rupees coming from a private bidder. The government PSU had a higher bid rate of 2.01 rupees per unit for the next 25 years. They were about to sign the PPAs, but given the scenarios of second wave of COVID in India and the pandemic being declared as a force majeure, so it was halted, and now the bidders wanted to go back on their bids of 2 rupees, because it was unhealthy to do a project at that price, because we all know, if you have been watching the news videos, the prices for solar industry have risen about 30 to 40% over the past 3 months due to the pandemic, due to the supply chain bottlenecks, due to increase in polysilicon prices, due to increase in commodity prices of steel, metals, copper, aluminum that is being used in the industry. So the project was unviable at 2 rupees, but SECI was adamant to do it, and Rajasthan government body that recognized this project, it went to the commission that we have to adopt this tariff because it was the lowest one, and it has been given a go ahead at 2 rupees. So I would be following this news very closely because it would be interesting to see how these developers deliver on these projects at 2 rupees. They could deliver, but they would be not profitable. They would have to sell the assets to some pension fund or some FDI in India again, because it would be interesting to see like how they would do these projects right now in the market given the prices that we are facing in Rajasthan. Karnataka proposes net metering for rooftop solar system up to 500 kilowatts. Finally, last month in June, week 4, we covered Karnataka was proposing to gross metering, and Karnataka was proposing to gross metering not just in a publication. They had identified the prices. They said for all solar power plants from 1 to 10 kilowatt, we will be buying back the electricity at 3.8 rupees, and whatever power plant from 10 kilowatt to 2 megawatts, we will be taking the electricity at, say, it was 2.4 rupees, I think. So now with the new order coming from Ministry of Power that 500 kilowatt net metering is allowed, and it being part of the new electricity policy of 2021 and consumer rights also. So 500 kilowatt is now recognized as a net metering for Karnataka, and it is recognized for all the states. So all the customers who were scared that we should not install rooftop solar power plants on the industries, you can up till 500 kilowatt you get net metering. Beyond 500 kilowatt, it will be counted as behind the meter. So behind the meter, you have the power to opt either for gross metering or either for captive load. So if you opt for captive loads, whatever electricity you produce on the days of holiday in your factory, basically you will be losing out the revenue on those days, but still a profitable project. Yeah, here are the prices, 3.8 and 2.8. Empanelment and rate contract tender floated for off-grid solar projects in UP. So UP has a project capacity of 3 megawatts, and it will be purely off-grid project where UP government recognizes where it will be deployed. So government offices, basically government offices, tube wells, and economically weaker sections that they seem fit to install off-grid solar power plants. So again, a news from Rewa Ultra Mega Solar Limited. Again, they have invited bids for Rewa. We have a plan of 5 gigawatts. 1 gigawatt was installed, and we have 4 gigawatts in pipeline. So these were the bidders that have bidded for the project, and they are still to be recognized, and the bid is still to be selected. So these are the bidders. Fitch rates Cleantech Energies proposed USD notes first time BB minus. So this was a complex news even for me to understand, because I'm a technical person. I look after the technical sides of the solar projects that we do in our company, and I don't look after the finances, but it was an interesting read for me. I like to, open up new horizons of knowledge. So there is a rating agency, and it has recognized that Acme Solar has multiple groups, and obviously Acme Solar has special purpose vehicle companies for doing its projects and selling it to other funds that acquire it or buy the stake out. So this has been a trend for utility scale power plants in India, and Acme Solar has total power plants spread across 8 Indian states. So they are saying that Acme had set up few entities in Mauritius as safe haven companies, and the funds were being funded from Mauritius to India and not directly. So they calculated all these things. I am not totally aware what these calculations and ratings, how they work out, but they have decreased the rating of this company to BB minus from triple B plus. So not a good news. If you are triple B plus, you can call us for projects in OPEX. If you are not triple B plus, you'll be like this, BB minus. So KKR backed Verisent files paper for Infrastructure Investment Trust to list its Indian solar assets. So this is a company that manages assets, large utility scale power plants as its assets in India, spread across Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, UP, Tamil Nadu. and they have filed for papers to add more infrastructure projects, and they have been buying up assets in India from various companies. Last year they I think last year they bought projects by Shapoorji Pallonji and few more. I think they bought projects from Shapoorji Pallonji, I remember, but they bought projects from various companies. Commercial and industrial rooftop could deploy 1875 megawatt of solar in 2021. So 2021 is the year that commercial and industrial rooftops deploy solar power plants on their own, because the electricity tariffs that are being planned to come into play from next year are high. And we are entering into August. I am recording this video on 31st July. From August 1st, you will get new tariffs in India. If you didn't know this, you should watch our video 1 of the June week 1, yeah, June week 1 or 2. I think I covered it in June week 1, where Discom appealed to the Ministry of Power to please allow them to push out new tariffs on April 1st, because Discom pleaded that new tariffs, if rolled out in August, September, it was state governments were given the veto power to say yes or no. Central government said yes, you can put up new tariffs on 1st April, financial year closure, but state government subsidized those and pushed those because of elections and not losing votes to September. So Discom said that from April to September we are losing large chunks of money, and in June the Ministry of Power has put up an amendment to state governments that you allow Discoms to put up new tariffs as soon as possible. So it was in June, and it was decided that August will be the date. So be prepared for increased electricity bills in industrial sector specifically. So right now India has a deployed rooftop solar capacity of 7.9 gigawatts, and 75% of installations are being done in commercial and industrial segments. We all know why. Industry pays 8 rupees, commercial sector pays 8 rupees. Why to pay 8 rupees when you could generate your own electricity at 50 paise per unit? Total power generation from non-fossil fuel sources reaches 39% of the total installed capacity. So India currently has a installed renewable capacity of 150 gigawatts. 150 gigawatts, not counting large hydro. We are only counting small hydro. Small hydro makes up about 5 gigawatts. Biomass 10 gigawatts, wind 60 gigawatts, and solar is finally 100 gigawatts. So 100 gigawatts of solar has been installed, and 30 has been in the rooftop sector, and other is in large sector. So amazing news for solar energy and renewable energy sector that India has achieved the 39% mark of renewable energy in the energy mix. So IFC, that is International Finance Corporation, IFC makes $126 million equity investment in India's federal bank. So IFC is a subsidiary of World Bank, and World Bank provides funds to IFC, and IFC invests those funds to other fund managers. So they have recognized Indian Federal Bank as the company to fund $126 million in equity to fund climate mitigation projects, green projects, mainly solar projects, wind projects, biogas, biomass, and greenfield projects basically. So this was an amazing read, and it was very insightful, published by PV Magazine India. So they discussed financial feasibility of behind the meter solar plus storage projects in India. So all my customers who have dealt with me, they know how I tell them to deploy mix of energy sources on their captive power plants if we are talking about the industry. So DG synchronization, battery storage, solar power plant, and biogas plant if possible on site. So to have the best LCOE possible for all from all combined sources. So power from batteries also has a LCOE. Usually from lead acid batteries it used to be about 9 rupees per kilowatt hour, and 9 rupees per kilowatt hour based on not replacing the batteries for next 5 years. But if you start replacing the batteries every 3 years, the LCOE from a battery, lead acid battery, would be 10 rupees. So this paper discussed when would the solar plus storage in India be, at par with the grid electricity tariff. So currently the grid electricity tariff taken up in this paper is 8 rupees, but solar energy is produced at much lower rate. But storage is the main culprit here. Storage is still pretty expensive in India, and we have not reached the grid parity for solar plus storage. So if we use lithium ion with solar, the LCOE of per kilowatt hour is about 12 rupees. If we use lead acid, the electricity I told you, if we use 4 hours of storage, the electricity rate is much higher, like 12 rupees plus plus. And they are saying that by 2025 it would be feasible to store 50% of your generated power from solar energy sources in the lithium ion batteries or any other battery sources, and by 2030 it would be feasible to store 70% of whatever power you produce from your solar power plant to be stored in batteries to be used later in the night time. So this is what is happening across the world. If you saw the video of ancillary industries, England is deploying grid parity, grid stability projects. Australia is talking about battery storages. US is uh, promoting battery storage on household levels. So this is the future, like solar plus battery storage is the future everywhere, and India is the same for that. So we covered this. So this was a news that we covered in June week 3. Power engineers and employees hold convention against Electricity Amendment Bill 2021. So in Electricity Amendment Bill, I and several industry professionals and solar industry, we protested against net metering being converted into gross metering. Similarly, Power Engineers Corporation of India and Power Engineers Federation of India protested against the privatization of the electricity sector in India. So again, they have done a meeting, and in the meeting they have decided that they will be representing the case to the Ministry of Power, and they will be stopping the hurried passing of this bill in the parliament. So they are talking about the privatization of the grid. They are saying that electricity is a strategically important sector for India, and electricity has been always important for Indian developing country like India. So they are saying that power should not be privatized and it should not be delicensed. They are talking about the worst case scenario that happened in Mumbai. So they are saying that Tata and Adani, who both have their own generating assets inside Mumbai, are selling power electricity to the customers in Mumbai at a higher tariff. So they are saying that this would cause a inequity in the Indian market of ensuring that everybody gets electricity supply at a feasible tariff. So they are saying that it will be not justified and it would be catering to inequality in this field, and they are saying that this needs to be studied and power should be controlled by public sector undertakings. Government should be controlling the power sector and it can be privatized for the operational part of it. So currently, as we all know, all the discoms are in PPP mode with government and private. So 50-50, basically 51% is with the government and 49% is with the private company, so as to maintain the services. So this is a good protest that they are doing, and I truly support this protest as an engineer working in power sector. But I want to ask you, the viewers of this video, I am sure that mostly all my views come from professionals working in this industry who are personally attached with me on WhatsApp. So do you support this protest or not, and what is the possible solution for this? So another thing has been sanctioned in India, 7 lakh smart meters to be installed across India, and it will start with tier 1 cities. REC Limited issues 125 megawatt of solar tender in Uttar Pradesh districts. So REC is trying to electrify Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh currently is very poor in reliable power supply to all. So we have done a lot of projects in Uttar Pradesh, residential and industrial projects, and every single day in daytime you will have power cuts in India, and specifically in UP. So REC is trying to solve this by installing mini grids, micro grids, small rooftop tenders. Currently they have put up a bid of 125 megawatt solar tender in district of Kanpur and Jalgaon, and it will be feeding into the substation of 132 kV line, that is our district line. This was all for the Indian solar news for week 4 of July 2021. Thank you for watching. If you got value in this news coverage, do hit like and subscribe. And please start engaging with the content. It gives me a feedback to keep doing this content because I have to take out time to record these videos and publish them. And it takes out time from my designing and my business part of it. But I would keep doing this regardless because I want to make people aware about renewable and power sector in India. We are just growing and we are just getting started. Currently, the Indian industry is in the nascent stage as compared to a developed nation like US or China. So share this knowledge with your friends and I'll see you in the next video.